We back with DC strats for Tyrant armor. This season counters are upped and we have minus 30% skill haste to all units. By the way, it's Mother's Day weekend. Don't forget to call your mothers and wish them a happy Mother's Day. If you are lucky enough to see them this weekend, make sure to give them a hug. Now, I will be going over the mechanics of the fight, some tips and tricks, the meta run, as well as a standard manual run. All of this will be timestamped, which you can find in the video description. So let's go ahead and check it out. Here we have Tyrant armor. He is a defender type boss who starts at the back, slowly walks towards your ship menacingly, and spawns a bunch of little ads that are normally rangers, and then one sniper ad that's large and does a lot of damage. Boss's special, indicated by the blue bar underneath his portrait, is an AoE knockback. This can be dodged. Boss's ult, indicated by the purple bar underneath his portrait, he basically just charges forward and then hits everything in his path, and then throws down an AoE lightning strike, which is only one valid hit, so you can shield it, and it can be redirected, so you can turn him around so he doesn't just run over your team. Boss will initiate a hit check around the end of the first bar of his HP. This is an actual hit check and not a damage check, so you need multiple units that hit fast. He'll do it again at the start of his last bar of HP. During the hit check, the boss is going to sit there and have an aura around him. This slows your unit's A speed down by 90%, give or take. Failure to complete the hit check will result in a laser beam that'll knock back anybody who survives, but basically normally wipes your team. So for our stats for nerds for this boss has 1.4 billion HP, has one of the highest defense coming in at 3.3k, almost 3.4. Now he's got 1.9k hit and 1.1k evasion. Now all this means that our tanks are going to need at least 1053 or more evasion in order to actually dodge the boss. Our DPS, in order to surefire the boss at 100% evasion, will need 2,171 or more hit. Or if you shred the boss's evasion in half, it'll need 1,086 hit or more in order to surefire. Biggest tips I can give you is that if you don't dodge the first knockback, go ahead and restart. It messes up a lot of positioning, and on top of that, sometimes some of your units will get killed. This hit check's going to be one of the biggest issues most people face while doing this boss. Use everything. If you're having issues passing it, if you don't have Swift Relic, you don't have the A speed op, try everything. Throw your ship skills, throw your ulties. You just need to hit it with everything you got to try and pass it. Second one won't be as bad because you'll have a couple more units to help pass, but you need to get past this first one. By some miracle, your frontline's still alive. There's this nifty neat feature where if you click on the portrait, you click the button above their head, it retreats them. This works really well because his boss only ults if something's within melee range. So this might buy you the few seconds you need in order to clear this boss. Mods I'm running for both teams is going to be 78%. So we're taking full minus 50% attack, minus 50% HP, minus 40% A speed, minus 40% skill haste. we only give the enemies plus 15% HP, and then we give them plus 50% attack, and we take the minus 30% resource deployment gain. So we want to back deploy Ecclesia here. That way she walks up slowly to the boss and she doesn't take as many hits, but she starts gaining on her ulti as soon as possible. So we forward deploy Rivet and Sky, and we deploy our OAR on Ecclesia because we don't want them walking up too far and getting too close to the boss. After that, we go ahead and use our Detroit S1 about when Ecclesia's special is about to end. That way, we blind the enemies and she takes reduced damage. I know she has perfect evasion, but that still actually reduces the damage she takes. We need her to stay alive up until the burst phase. Now, once the hit check starts, we want to go ahead and use our ulti. We could even use it a little bit beforehand. You don't have to do it right then, but then we throw everything we got as soon as this hit check starts at the boss, trying to sit here and not only pass the hit check, but set up for a burst here because we tactically nuke the boss with Ecclesia's ulti along with Rivet's passive. And as you see, Ecclesia actually did about 500k, about the same as Rivet. Alright, gear for this team. I'm running full CDR. As much anti-ground damage as possible. She gets perfect evasion during the fight. Every time after her special, I believe what it is. And then also she gains more evasion after she does her passive attack. This will also help reduce the damage she's taking, and then I'm running an evasion accessory on her as well, just to further reduce the damage she's taking when she has perfect evasion on. Now Rivet's a special case. You need 1,171 hit. Now you can achieve that by having 2 SSR accessories plus 10, and then the SC chest also on hit. Now, since we don't need skill haste, which is what I normally run on this, I changed it to hit so that we could surefire the entire fight. Now, if you don't have the plus 10 SSR accessories, you can actually roll the first line to hit here in order to achieve the surefire for the entire fight. Or you can, chance it to RNG, up to you. But besides that, we're putting it on as much anti-ground damage as possible. She has CO damage, so that's helpful as well. You can run A speed on her if that's what you have. So Sky, I have on my usual A speed with skill haste lines. If you do not have this type of gear, full CDR is what you want to run. Her ulti is the most important thing in this fight. Administrator is on your basic A speed anti-defender gear. Assault Trooper is on the swift attack speed latent gear. You can try to run it with just regular A speed. It's rather difficult to do it on minus 40% A speed. It's possible, but very, very difficult. So it might just be best to knock it down to minus 25. Now Taras, because of his internal attack speed gear really doesn't help crazy much. But you can run it on attack anti-defender. Taras actually hits rather hard on this boss when at minus 100% death break. It's about like 200k crits if I remember correctly. Now Lonely's not in any threat of getting hit ever, so I actually just have her on full damage. Look at that juicy 117% crit damage with all that anti-ground and only a 22% chance to crit. And then Kang, she barely does anything, but I went ahead and put her on some blaze gear, whatever filler gear I could to give her some anti-ground damage and anti-defender. For the operator, obviously you want the A-speed Kim Hana, and then for ship latents, I'm running on the Detroit. All these counter latents are completely useless, but we do have a single line of ranger attack. Alright, so if you don't happen to own Ecclesia, you can actually do this with either my Chifu strat from last armor, or we can actually just go with the basic Alex start. Now, counters are up, so Gayun's actually pretty good, and the secret to keeping Alex alive is killing those ads. So we want to sit here and use Gayun because she just AoEs them down really well. And we're going to use the ship's skill S1 just to sit there and vacuum to the front to try and get them killed even faster. And we'll actually have it back up later on, but once we get to, once we have our DPS out, we want to wait until the DPS check starts, deploy Lonely, use our ship skill S to get Soyun out onto the field, and then go ahead and use Sky's ultimate with ship skill S1, and then use Gayun's ulti. That'll give us the most burst here, and we'll actually have a good little damage amp. Now Alex is still alive, so I go ahead and retreat her so the boss doesn't immediately ulti, and that gives us the time to burn the boss down. And as you can see here, Gayun putting in all of the work for the team, almost tripling all their damages. Alright, so the gear for this team, I'm running Gayun as the lead for her leader ability. Alex is on your standard tank gear, HP with 50% crit res and as much ground res as possible. Though with her defense, she actually doesn't need that. I'm over capped on res, but I'm being lazy. I could probably give her more CDR or damage. Now for Gayun, I'm running A speed anti-defender with 9.4% skill haste on the case. Sky Layfield, I'm running the attack speed with CDR as the subs. Now, if you don't have this type of gear, just run regular CDR. The ult is more important than anything else. Rifleman is your standard A speed anti-defender. Assault troopers, you need to have on swift A speed with A speed latents. If not, just take minus 25 on the attack speed. Granted, minus 40 is somewhat possible, but it is very, very RNG as if you get it. Now Tarask, we're just running on A speed anti-defender. Honestly, you can sit there and run it on attack or attack anti-defender or double anti-defender if you possibly have that. Tarask actually does pretty good with Surefire and 100% death down, about 200k crits usually. Only I'm running CDR with tank stats because she takes a few hits on this strategy. And then Soyun actually does damage because she's a ranger and this boss is actually a defender, so we're giving her damage gear. Outside of that, A speed Hana, you need the max A speed. And then for Enterprise, we actually have some counter latents here. You know, some soldier hit, that's cute. And then some ranger damage. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this helps you improve your scores this season. Again, it's Mother's Day weekend. Don't forget. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're feeling extra special, you can join the Mage Institute by clicking the join button. You can catch me on Discord, link will be in the description. And if you want to help support this channel, you can find a link in the description for that as well. As always, I will see you all next time.